Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present Will and I, a Memoir, by Clay Byars, narrated by Paul Woodson. Teach me, tell me something that will convince me, just one word. One word? Okay. Tarara-boom-die. Anton Chekhov. Chapter 1. Climbing out of my car for my third appointment, I heard a booming baritone coming from inside the house. The lesson before mine was going long. I parked in the driveway behind my teacher's truck, a red pickup with a bumper sticker that read, "Imagine Baghdad, China," as if the meaning of this were obvious. Something about the sticker, its air of competitive knowingness, had almost caused me to back out and drive away a few weeks before, after I'd pulled in for my first appointment. In fairness, part of me had probably shown up looking for a reason to leave. I'd never sung in front of people in my life, at least not since elementary school music class. I don't even sing to myself in the shower. I'm not sure why I stayed that day. Definitely not out of any great hope. Mainly it was politeness. I'd blocked out an hour of his day. Cigarette butts scattered on the ground below the porch added to the bohemian feel of the house. The front steps had no railing, a challenge, but I was used to them by now. I wasn't worried about falling anymore. Still, I went slowly. I knew from experience that I needed to make sure my left toes didn't get caught under the lip of the step above as I went up. I had nothing to stabilize myself on. I angled my feet to the side to increase their surface area. I didn't knock. The teacher had told me not to after the first time when I'd interrupted a lesson. I twisted the knob and pushed the door, which more or less opened on its own. The teacher and his student were in an alcove off to the right where he kept his piano. I turned left, into the high-ceilinged living room, where I had to sit and wait my turn. The teacher looked like a painting I'd once seen of Bodhidharma, the man who took Buddhism from India to China. Big, with a bald dome and high forehead, fringe of black hair in back, trim beard. He had an unusual name, De Win, pronounced with the accent on the second syllable, though not everyone got it right. He told me about a man who insisted on greeting him with, "How you doin'?" He nodded at me and kept playing. The other student, standing across the piano from him, remained hidden, but I could hear his voice, confident and deep. And loud, the kind of voice that might break things. I don't speak Italian, but it was impossible to miss that this was a lover's song. The man was pleading with someone. There wasn't anywhere to sit that I'd be able to get off easily when the time came. The only chair in the room that had arms, which I could push on to stand, was a thrift store-looking yellow recliner covered with books and musical scores. There was a permanently reclined black massage chair that I didn't even consider. My only option was a low, sprung sofa. I sat on the edge, hunched forward over my feet, knowing that if I were to sit back, my knees would be over my head. I flipped through a cartoon book about suicide that had been sitting on the table in front of me. A doctor I'd seen a few weeks before had suggested these lessons. A lucky visit when I think back. I saw him only that once, and I hadn't even made the appointment with him, but with another doctor who, when I did finally see her, dismissed me as a lost cause. But this other doctor, whose name I don't even remember, something ethnic, northern accent, not from Birmingham, saw me that day and was less pessimistic. He snaked a camera through my nose and down my throat, and I sat there while he pointed at a sonogram screen on the wall, where we watched my throat muscles pulsating. He had me make vowel sounds. "You see," he said, pointing at my larynx as I made a sustained ooh sound, "there's movement on both sides." I could see what looked like two white labia in my throat, the vocal cords. They quivered vaguely. "Your cords aren't really paralyzed," he said, "just extremely weak." After he'd withdrawn the little lubricated tube, he asked if I had any questions. "What can I do to make them stronger?" "Consider singing," he said. I laughed. "It sounds crazy."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?